Apa kabar Bapak Ibu? Semoga kita semua dalam keadaan sehat dan berbahagia selalu ya. Nah, sesuai dengan anjuran pemerintah untuk mengikuti protokol kesehatan selama masa pandemi ini dan juga protokol kesehatan yang kami lakukan di JCDC, kami menerapkan 5M dan kami semua di sini menggunakan masker, menjaga jarak, menjauhi kerumunan, serta mencuci tangan dengan sabun. Dalam rangka konferensi bawah pohon ini, izinkan saya untuk melepaskan masker untuk dapat memperkenalkan diri terlebih dahulu ya. Halo, saya VK Angge Pramita, saya psikolog klinis di JCDC. Nah, kita sudah melalui pandemi ini sudah lebih dari setahun ya Bapak Ibu, dan sangat tidak mudah untuk kita semua menjalaninya. Dan ternyata situasi ini seperti yang kita ketahui, tidak hanya terjadi di Indonesia, namun juga terjadi di negara-negara lain. Nah, pada hari ini kita akan membahas kesulitan seperti apa, dan khususnya di area pembelajaran dan mengajar yang dihadapi oleh kita orang tua, ataupun guru, serta anak, ataupun figur-figur yang membantu anak-anak belajar di rumah. Serta apa yang perlu dipersiapkan ketika nanti anak akan sekolah offline atau sekolah tatap muka langsung. Hal ini tentu menjadi kebingungan di antara kita dan masih kebimbangan. Dan kali ini saya akan mengundang seorang tokoh narasumber dari Amerika. Beliau adalah Miss Monica Osgood, seorang konsultan terapi dan juga konsultan perilaku yang sudah cukup lama, sekitar 20 tahun, mendampingi anak-anak dalam perkembangan, khususnya anak-anak yang berkebutuhan khusus. Kali ini Miss Monica akan menjelaskan apa saja yang perlu dipersiapkan orang tua selama pembelajaran online dan juga pembelajaran tatap muka langsung, khususnya pendampingan secara psikologis ya. Nah, sebelum Miss Monica menjelaskan apa sih yang perlu kita persiapkan, tentunya kita ingin mengenal lebih dalam lagi tentang sosok profil Miss Monica Osgood. Beliau adalah seorang spesialis yang menggunakan pendekatan perkembangan untuk mendukung anak dengan autism dan masalah perkembangan lain dalam menjalin interaksi sosial dan komunikasi. Selain itu, beliau juga merupakan pendiri dan direktur Pusat Perkembangan Anak dan Keluarga, serta anggota pendiri Yayasan Profektum, yaitu sebuah yayasan yang bergerak untuk memajukan anak-anak autisme dan juga anak-anak dengan masalah perkembangan ataupun masalah mental yang lain. Nah, kita sambut saja ya, dan kita dengarkan penjelasan dari Miss Monica Osgood.
So I will begin. So thank you so much, Miss Monica Osgood. Before that, before our relaxed and smooth conversations between us, I want to introduce more about your profile. So Miss Monica Osgood is co-founder of the Celebrates the Children's. She is an experienced behavioral consultant and therapist who specializes in using developmental approaches to support children with autism and other differences in relating and also in communicating. And Monica Osgood is also the founder and director of the Developmental Center for Children and Families and executive director and founding member of the Profectum Foundations. Monica, has worked over 20 years in homes, therapy centers, and private public school settings. And most of her experience has included assessment and development of intervention programs and curriculum, and IEP development, and parent and professional training. So with all of your rich full profile, I will really looking forward to know more about you before we are going to discuss about the topic that you will present in our seminar parenting online on this May. It's about how we supporting the parents, because in this pandemic we are confronted many challenges, right, in our daily living, including how parents, teachers, or maybe relatives, grandparents supporting our children in school, both online and offline. And you will talk a little bit how we can overcome these situations. And you will talk more in your seminar, right? Okay. So before we talk about more serious topic about that, I would like to know more about you. So with all of your experience, could you describe more, Monica, what is your passion about?
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to our sessions in May. First, I need to update that biography that you read because it's going on more like 30 years now, unfortunately. It makes me feel old. But my passion really has always been working with children and interesting people. So I very early on got into the field of working with children and specifically in special education. And back again, almost 30 years ago, I started working with children with autism, and that was before a lot of people really knew much about autism. So I had the benefit of getting in early and learning all of these years. And what I'm passionate about are these people. And many of the individuals that I've had the pleasure of working with, I've worked with them from the age of 2 or 3 years old. And now some of those individuals are in their late 20s, early 30s, and I still have a relationship with them. And I think that's what I'm passionate about, is not only working with these individuals and helping them grow and develop and learn, but really it's all about the relationship and the relationship that we have together and what we learn from each other. They teach me just as much as I teach them.
Okay, so if you are reflection right now, what is the most important things that you learn from them?
I'm sorry, would you repeat the first part of that question?
In your reflection, if you reflect it right now with your experience, what is your, how you can learn also from them? What is the important or the things that you point from them?
Wow, a lot of things. I'll try to pick maybe a couple of the top ones. Really, I think that over the years, we learned that people with autism and similar challenges are so much smarter than what they're able to always express or tell us or show us. So I've learned that autism is not an intellectual disorder, but more a disorder of integration of sensory information coming in, which then makes it challenging for them to use their motor planning. And you use your motor planning in your body and your mouth to express your ideas and your thoughts and your feelings. So what I've learned is that they have very typical thoughts, intelligence, emotions, desires, but there's a breakdown between what they're thinking and feeling and what they can show you and express. So they taught me that, and they've also taught me how to help them bring those things together so that they can express themselves more functionally and connect with others and have relationships with others just like everyone wants to.
But why autism, Monica?
It found me, not the other way around. I have always enjoyed working with children, and I started when I was 13 years old as a summer camp counselor, and I just really loved it. And I was going to school for my undergraduate degree in psychology, and I had a teacher come to me and say that a family with a little boy with autism was looking for someone to work with him in the home. Would I be interested in trying it? And that the school that he went to would train me. So again, this is 30 years ago, and I didn't know anything about autism, but I said, sure, I love children, I'll do it. And it was just very, very natural. He responded to me very well. The school hired me on the spot, and that's where I got my start. From there, I never did anything else. I just loved it so much.
And I believe from your first encounter with that children with autism, I think you're not straightly found floor time first.
Right. Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Yes. The school that hired me was an ABA school, and it used more of a behavioral approach. So that's where I got my first training in the field. And although I did shift over to a more developmental approach later on, I still loved that job. I loved the children there that I worked with. And again, that was back in 1995. And again, some of those children, two of the little girls in particular that I worked with in that preschool classroom, I still speak to today. And like I said, they're in their early 30s. And it's just wonderful I think that's been my biggest learning experience, is growing up with these kids. And that's been a huge benefit for my learning, is staying connected with them through all the different stages of development and life.
That's very interesting. And how you can find floor time? Because right now you are learning. You can have opportunity also to meet with Dr. Stanley Greenspan, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I work.
And also right now you're working also with Serena Reader.
Correct. Yes. I had the benefit of working with Dr. Greenspan quite closely, for the years leading up to, unfortunately, his passing. And yes, Dr. Serena Weeder has been a guide for me and continues to be an inspiration for the work that I do today. So I speak to her at least several times a week. And you asked how we can find floor time, if people can find floor time. The best place to go to learn more about DIR floor time is Perfectum Foundation. So www.perfectum.org. And there you will find many resources for both parents and professionals. In particular, I would love to have people take a look at the Perfectum Parent Toolbox. It's a completely free online training resource with videos and a workbook that helps guide you through the principles and strategies of floor time. And although we developed it for parents, we have found that professionals use it all the time for training as well. So that's a good place to start.
So with your all of your experience, I'm wondering also, do you have special interest in specific subjects, especially with the developmental, or maybe in relating and communicating, or maybe in autism itself?
Yes, and this will connect a little bit with what I'll talk about in May, but it was really probably about the last 5 to 7 years, I have really started to conceptualize a certain area of my work, and I'll explain it. What I was seeing is, with our relationship with all of these hundreds of children that I've worked with over the years, there were some children who didn't have really any verbal communication, but they were very able at using either typing or an augmentative device to communicate, and very functionally. Then there were some kids on the other end who were very, very talkative, but just needed help with some of their speech and language and how to listen to other people and communicate more functionally that way. But then there were these children in the middle who some of them could speak very clearly, but they just never used their communication functionally or purposefully. And I started to really look at that, and it was frustrating for them because I knew how smart they were. And again, I had very close relationships with them. So I started to think about, why isn't traditional speech and language therapy working for those children? And what I saw is that, not only did they have a lot of challenges in their sensory motor systems, which was making it very hard for them to organize their bodies and communicate, but that there was a big emotional component to it as well. So when you go through your day, not being able to communicate, maybe you have a lot of anxiety, you know, you're being prompted through your day. You're not making many decisions for yourself. You don't have much control over what you do, your schedule or anything. This can take a huge emotional toll on you. And what I was seeing with these children is that they were, you know, either shutting down or they were in a constant state of anxiety and just trying to get through the day. And this was taking up all of their, what we would call bandwidth, or processing abilities just to get through the day. And there wasn't anything left for talking or interacting with other people or doing their schoolwork. They were just, you know, really just trying to get through the day. So I started thinking about these 5 C's, which I'll talk about in May, thinking about the child's level of comfort, both physically and emotionally, the child's feeling of being competent and purposeful throughout the day. So what percentage of the day does any child feel competent and successful versus just being dragged through their day or failing, you know, at so many things. And that's really important because everyone wants to feel competent. And if your child is not feeling competent at least 50% of the day, then we need to, you know, reevaluate things and provide them with more opportunities to be successful. Once they have feelings of competence on a regular basis, that then builds their confidence, which is the 3rd C. And with confidence, you know, your anxiety comes down. You are more confident in approaching new situations or trying new things, working with different people. So confidence is something, again, all of us want to have. Yes. And from there, we think about control, the 4th C. And control is not just self-control, but do I have control over what I eat, what my schedule is, what I play with, what I wear? Do I have control within an interaction with someone else so that it's more of a give and take? So we really think about that. And when all of those 4 C's are in place, and we really think about adapting our interactions with the child, their environment, their schedule to really foster these 4 C's, we do see that bandwidth open up for better communication, whether it be verbally, gesturally, writing, typing, whatever it is, the communication then comes out. And that's been my passion over the last 5 to 7 years. And we call those the 5 C's of me. And that's something that we also have really worked on and evolved during the pandemic and during quarantine, because we've had so much time to work directly with the parents online. And we've worked with the parents, helping them to foster those C's at home.
So that's very interesting. And I really like your term about bandwidth, because it's really more abroad for explaining what is happening with the children. And the 5 C's is really can be applied not only with the children with special needs, right, but also with the children with the typical development.
And also adults. We joke that we use it with our husbands to get them to do more around the house. We build their confidence about it.
That's interesting.
No, it really does. I mean, those 5 C's, just like within the DIR model, the developmental milestones that we're working towards are all based on typical development. The model was not built for children with autism. It's based on typical development. And those 5 C's are also just what every person needs in order to live a meaningful life. So yes, it does work with everyone.
Okay. So for me, as in my profession as a clinical psychologist, my experience is only like now it's about 12 years right now. So it's really different from you because you are already have a lot of experience. So my questions relate still with the passions that you also still, from your information and your explanations, I can imagine that you really nourishing your passion and you nourishing yourself, and you're maintaining all of the things that you like to do and you like to work on it, right? So maybe if you can say something with the practitioners for the people that really for the people that work with the special needs children and family, can you say something for us, the newbie? How
well,
we
I don't
can?
know. Yeah, you don't sound like a newbie, but yeah, I think that what I wake up every day and think is that I'm lucky to do work that I love and enjoy. And I'd never take that for granted, because I know that there are a lot of people that get up and go to work that they don't love, and they do it because they need to work. And I think, number one, to always appreciate that you have the opportunity to do a job like this and get paid for it. But also just that one of the things I love about this job is that you never stop learning. I learn something new every day. And I'm a very creative person, so I need new information to keep me stimulated. If I went to work every day and it was the same thing and never anything new, I would not be able to stay at that job. But, you know, whether it's something funny that a child says or something new that a child teaches me or a young adult teaches me, that's what I love. And that's what keeps me going. And that's what keeps me inspired to keep doing this work. And I would just say to the practitioners to, number one, consider yourself lucky. Number two, just keep an open mind and keep your eyes open, because you'll learn something every day, no matter how old you get and how long you've been doing this. And there's my birds.
She agree with you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for your words for us, the practitioners, and I think I'm on the right track, and I hope I can be inspired more by you, because this is the things that we need to love from it, and we need to nourishing, right? So we need to know why and how we can do this work, but not only see the children or the case as a work, but as a person. Like, I really like the slogan from Celebrate the Children, not see the children as label, but see them as a people. I really love it.
Thank you.
So this is the serious questions about the pandemic.
Sure.
Serious because we are going to talk about the pandemic, okay? So in this pandemic, many situations shift, such as from online learning and also offline learning. So in these situations, our children need to adjust to new conditions, from time to time, from time changes to the learning method, which takes them timetable to adjust. So how does it actually affect children and parents in those conditions?
Wow, that is a big question again. It's been a very, very difficult and traumatizing year for everyone around the world, and especially families who are home with their children with special needs.
Yes.
In particular, I think of a few families that we have at the school who have more than one children with autism at home, and both parents need to work for a living, and how they struggled to manage home life when we were all in quarantine, especially as the children were very different ages. So one was trying to learn on this computer, another was trying to learn on this computer, both parents were trying to work, and it was very, very challenging. And over time, some of the children did really regress developmentally, socially, and emotionally, because they need the structure of school. They need, and it gets back to the 5 C's, even though they love their parents, they feel very comfortable at home, those feelings of competency and confidence and control are hard to maintain, again, when, say, I'm just using this one family as an example, the parents are trying to work, so they can't be with the children all day long. And so therefore the children aren't spending a good percentage of their day doing things where they feel purposeful and competent, and they need that. So what we saw were, some of the children becoming very anxious again, or reverting back to old behaviors that they used to have. And a lot of that was, an attempt to stimulate themselves because they didn't have that intensive school day schedule. So we started to work with the parents online and support them and coach them. And what we really stressed, and this is something else I would talk about in May, is to really think about a balance. So rather than just worrying, so there were 3 things that we wanted them to think about. Yes, let's try to keep up with the school and interventions the best we can through the online, but then also take this opportunity just to work on your relationship and nurture that relationship with your child, between siblings, because we may never have an opportunity like this again. And so rather than looking at it all in a negative way, let's say, okay, we're in it, we're home 24 hours a day all together. Let's work on deepening our relationship, understanding each other, understanding your child. So that would be the other, one of the 3 things that we want to balance. And again, really spending time with your child where you're not thinking about their diagnosis, you're not thinking about teaching them anything, you're not making it a teachable moment, you're just interacting with them like a parent and a child, or 2 siblings together. So you want to make sure you take time every day to do that. And then the third one relates to the C's, which is, again, taking the opportunity to build more feelings of competency in the home. So we started coaching parents online to each week we would have a different chore or something around the house that they could do, whether it was helping with the laundry, or making a simple meal, or setting the table, or vacuuming. We had something different every week. And what was really an unexpected great thing that came out of this was, when you try to teach any child, special needs or not, to do a chore, and it's just mom saying, hey, do this, that's pretty boring, and it's hard to get the kids to really be motivated about it. But when it's part of your daily schedule online, and the parents join the child in class online, and they see all of their classmates doing the same thing, and people cheering for them, and if they folded a towel, they would hold it up to the camera and show it, and everybody would cheer and good job, that was really motivating for the other kids then. So they all were very, very motivated to do these things. And the parents were also just so pleased to see their children being successful in this way. And it made the parents feel competent and more confident with their child as well, because they were doing purposeful things together. And so for some children who really had never done anything around the house like this, and a lot of their interactions with their parents may just be around attention-seeking behaviors or getting their basic needs met. Suddenly, they're interacting with each other, they're doing things together, their kids are doing things for their parents. The parents are just so happy that we actually, even though the pandemic, again, was horrible, we really, really appreciate the what we learned, and how some of these children's relationships with their family and their home life just completely changed. Again, another learning opportunity for us.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we will discuss more about this topic, right, in your seminar Parenting Online. And thank you for all the answers about how to support parents. And hope to see you soon in Seminar Parenting Online on May 7th and also 21st, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Monica Osgood, for all of your answers for the questions. And we are going to discuss more how to support parents in learning through online and also offline in your seminar. And it will be due in May 7th and also 21st. And we all have a lot of insight from your explanation, and we will willing to know more. Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu sudah mendengarkan kami berdua berbincang-bincang langsung dan lebih dalam mengenai profil dari Miss Monica Osgood dan juga penjelasan beliau mengenai bagaimana kita bisa mensupport anak pada saat pembelajaran online dan nanti pada saat pembelajaran offline. Tentu saja untuk dapat mendengarkan lebih lanjut penjelasan mengenai topik ini secara mendalam, kami tunggu Bapak Ibu untuk dapat bergabung dalam seminar parenting online yang nanti akan diselenggarakan pada tanggal 7 Mei dan tanggal 21 Mei tahun 2021. Bapak Ibu bisa melihat lebih lanjut keterangannya pada Instagram kami yaitu @my_JCDC ataupun menghubungi admin untuk informasi lebih lanjut. Kami berharap konferensi Bawah Pohon ini memberikan informasi-informasi yang bermanfaat bagi kita semua, khususnya pada saat kita menjalani kehidupan sekarang ini untuk selalu berbahagia selalu bersama dengan keluarga kita. Saya VK Angge Pramita, undur diri dan sampai jumpa lagi. Dadah!